I get from what you said. And this is just the beginning of the show, so you can imagine where we're going.
Definitely. And so that was the beginning. Like literally, I would say that was the beginning of my journey of, knowing that I'm a crafter, an artisan. I just love, and I love to bake. I love to cook. Like when I think about it, my son had to do a story yesterday, and he had to write about somebody that has made a difference in his life, and he wrote about me. Oh. And as he was writing, he was saying, my mom believes in limitlessness. She doesn't allow me to have any excuses. And honestly, that's from my dad. My dad had this thing. There was no such word as can't. Like, you could not say can't around my father.
Presence.
Him, he don't want to hear it. It's not going to be said. And I've passed it on. Like the other day, my grandbaby, she just loves to say, "Oh, I can't do it, Nana. Nana, I can't do it. I just can't do it." I said, "Sierra, no, we're not doing that. There's no such word as can't." And so the other day, she asked me to get her water. I said, "Cece, I'm not able to do that." "Nana, there's no such word as can't. You can do it." Now, mind you, lifting a gallon of water with my hands, trying to balance while in the bed. This is a setup for failure right here. Okay? 3-year-old telling me, "Nana, no such word as can't." She got the bottle. She gave me the bottle. She's like, "Put your hand in it, lift it up." And so afterwards, she's like, "See, Nana, you can do it."
You can. That goes back to that education that I was telling you about. Believe it or not, sometimes, a lot of times, they don't do what we tell them to do, but they watch what we do, and telling them and being repetitive. That you have been amazingly motivating to me. I could say that. Let's talk about your life as an adult before the incident happened to you. Some of the things.
Yeah, well, I was an entrepreneur. I had a successful business, brick and mortar business here in Grand Bahama since Raina would have been born in 2008. So when I was pregnant with my son, who's going to be 12 this year, I remember I was working at a cellular place that had a game house as well. I did all their accounting. And at the end of the building, the landlord had an open space. And literally, Regina, my brain just started percolating. And I went home that night, and I remember waking up. And I have these things where I wake up in the middle of the night. And I don't care. If you're a real entrepreneur, you have midnight dreams. God speaks to you in the middle of the night. You up in the night and you writing. So I remember waking up like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I called my mom and I said, "Mommy, I have this idea. It has to be a boutique. And it's based on service, but it has everything in it, but it's boutique style. And so it's really high end, but it's not high end, but it's catering to the Bahamians, but really making sure that they feel service. That's the main thing. And I have the color scheme. It's black and mirrors and lights, and it's fancy." And my mom goes, this is my mom. "So Ruth Ann, do you realize that it's 2 o'clock in the morning?" I go, "Really?" I said, "No, Mom." Okay, so I thought it was 1.
I can imagine, because a lot of people don't get that. I'm like that too, because I pitch up last night because we were going to do this live. And I could tell you, we were talking about it off air. This live is a challenge. This kicks your behind. So every time I'm about to go live, the day before I'm about to go live, it's like I'm laying down and I'm thinking of what I'm going to do with this live. And I'm thinking about, I got to get this right. And then I'm like, it's technology. I was watching a live last night with people who are millionaires, have technicians in the room, and they were still having challenges. So, woosah, I could breathe. So I understand when you say getting stuff in the night, and I get business ideas and all these coming on this stream. God gave this to me at night. Okay, because I'm used to having a production. Okay. So this is challenging.
But when I had this dream, I created my boutique. Me and my mom went into business. We opened the boutique. The boutique actually became very successful. It was called 196, and it was so hilarious because, of course, Bahamians like the long names. Like, it has to be a long name.
Yeah.
This is just 196. Yeah. And so, of course, first of all, everybody thought it was a game house. So they're coming and be like, well, what's 196? Like 196? Now what? 196. So even in our marketing, this is all I used to put in the paper. 196, 196, 196, 196. Ask me how or ask about us. That's it. So people would call and be like, this is the numbers we supposed to play today. This is a special number.
Wow. But it got people calling and it got people coming, eh?
Yes, and that was the point. That was the whole entire point. So, and then I got into network marketing. That was my, like, a year into the brick and mortar business. I actually got introduced to network marketing. And man, that was like, woo, light bulb moment. And I was pushed into the front of the room making presentations. And my person say, well, Ruthann, you're the life of the party and you have all this. I'm a person, yeah, but I'm really quiet. I'm a quiet person. I keep to myself. I don't really, I'm an animated person, mind you, but I don't make a lot of noise. And so literally when this started happening, I was like, okay, pushing me in the front of the room, making sure I'm front and center all the time. But then I realized that maybe this is my calling. Maybe I'm supposed to be at the front of the room. Maybe I'm supposed to be doing this. And so kind of that's where my feel for being even in the front and speaking came to be, and actually being open and being able to speak in front of people, because Regina, girl. And then I used to be a crybaby. So when they used to put me in the front of the room, what do they call them? I'm a nymph. So I feel person's pain. Man, Regina, someone say something, I'd burst out crying. Oh, I'd be like, and at the time I was in Artists International, and I remember people would say something, and I'd be like, oh, and they'd be like,
what's going wrong with her?
Listen to me. So I was known as the crybaby. You want to get people teared up in a meeting? Put Ruthann in the front of the room. She'll have you snorty nose and everything, because I just used to cry. Everything. You talk too hard at me. I used to cry.
Wow.
But I also realized through that was my personal battle that I was going through. There was a lot of pain within me, and I couldn't get it out, and I didn't know how to get it out. So I was just letting it out in any avenue,
in any environment. Listen, I think what you're saying to me is you're being in the forefront and doing what it is that you were doing back then when you were able-bodied and functioning and doing what it is that you were doing, was your preparation, I think, in a lot of ways for what was to come. Do you feel like that might have been the case?
Yes, and I also feel like, this whole scenario, hold on one second for me, sorry, hold on, technical difficulties, hold on one second.
Okay.
Having your children home, your grandbabies home, is like you're trying to have an office space, but can't, because you're doing, yeah. Definitely, I feel that all of this built up to where I am today, and this 5 years has been a long time. Like, it was hard, but I think a lot of things transpired in me getting put in the corner, as I call it. I like to say that God put me in this corner. Like, a lot of persons, even like those that knew me, they're like, man, Ruthann, God probably just took you off your feet because you just was moving just too fast.
You
were just constantly on the grind, just going. And I know that a lot of this had to do with stress, stress of my life, stress of I hate to say, for the better word, marriage, all that good stuff.
But let me say something. One of the things that I think we need to clarify here is that a lot of women and a lot of persons in society today, in our country, especially the Bahamas, because we're good at lying to ourselves and we're good at hiding things. But not until you're able to confront stuff and bring it to the forefront are you able to be free. I could say that to anybody, because what you're saying, a lot of people are going through, they just don't want to say it, okay? Because I know it well. At the end of the day, though, I think that all that you went through, and I'm going to say it again, because I believe that everything you go through in your life is for a purpose. And I believe that what you went through was preparing you for what you are doing and dealing with now. Let's talk a little bit about the day you woke up and life changed for you.
Well, it's so funny because it started with an itch. Like 2015, I remember the months. Like I literally have the book in my mind of how it's going to be written, how it's going to look, because it replays in my mind all the time. I remember
Mm-hmm.
sitting in the store up in the Savoy building, and it started with the patch because it was an itch and a patch. So I remember calling my mom. There was a patch in my left eye. It was literally a strip. I couldn't see
Mm-hmm.
above it. I could see above it. I could see below it. I couldn't see through it. And I remember speaking to my mom. I said, "Mommy," I said, "I have this patch in my eye." So she's like, "A patch?" I was like, "Yeah, it's like this strip. It's like I can't see through it. Like I know it's there, but I don't know what it is."
Mm-hmm.
And so then I remember going home and I had this itch because prior to the strip, I had this itch and it was an
Mm-hmm.
insatiable itch. I'm talking an itch like crazy to the point where it would not go away. Regina, I have at that time, yeah, I had all 6 kids. I had them scratching this itch. I'm talking scratching. Mommy, there's nothing there. Are you sure? And I'm like, listen, guys, something has to be there because it's driving me insane. It's insatiable.
Mm-hmm.
And so literally they would scratch it, nothing. I remember going to the doctor. He was like, well, maybe let me give you some, what's the stuff that they give you? Like antihistamine
I
type
think it's yeah. Uh-huh. That's
vagina, nothing.
brilliant, doctor.
I bought every type of bra you could think of to
Uh-huh.
try and get rid of this itch because it was literally on the, where you hook your bra, it was,
Uh-huh. That's face, yeah, in the back.
I bought fabric. I had my kids getting fabric out of my bins, wrapping the bra straps in
That's right.
fabric,
Wow.
nothing. So I remember my mom saying, well, go check on your eye. So first the doctor said I had lupus. Told me I
Wow.
had discoid lupus. So I was like, discoid lupus is skin lupus. I had no lesions on my skin. As you can see, I don't have any butterfly rash. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay. So I go to the eye doctor. I remember, man, Regina, like yesterday, this eye doctor was in my eye for at least 45 minutes. I talking like,
Like all up in there.
I thought gears. I thought you could see the gears in my brain or something. I'm like, Dr. Wrong again on here. And so she just suddenly says to me, you need to get to ophthalmologist now. So
Wow.
now I'm like, okay, now you're scaring me. What do you mean? You need to go down to Davy's house right now and you need to sit there and you need to tell them you must see the ophthalmologist today and you cannot leave until you see her. Now, Regina,
Wow.
you know, going to a government office to talk about you sitting there and you can't leave until
Until. So that was a long day.
4 hours. Four
Wow.
hours I sat there waiting. When I
Wow.
got into the chair, literally, she looked, she looked. Oh, you have multiple sclerosis. What?
Now it's multiple sclerosis, right?
Tears, like uncontrollable tears just start streaming down my face. My
Wow.
mom's sister has multiple sclerosis. And
Oh.
all I can do is envision her. She sits in a wheelchair. Her
Mm.
mobility, and she's been in a home. Like all of this flushes through my head. So
Mm.
I can think of life is done. I'm over.
Wow.
I'm finished.
Wow.
I'm dead.
Yes. That's the first thing. Because for somebody who's a mobile person and functioning the way you did, moving around so busy, dealing with family and everything, now in your head, everything stops.
It's done. Like I'm finished. And she literally says, you cannot leave here. You have to go straight to the hospital. We have to admit you. You cannot leave to go home. We must admit you to the hospital.
Wow.
And
Wow.
from there, I'm given the MRIs. The MRIs come out clean. I don't have MS. They say that they want to do high dose steroids. I'm against steroids because at the time, of course, I'm in the natural business.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
steroids. Worst thing I ever did. I should have taken the steroids. You have to be wise. You have to have wisdom when you do things. So that was the first thing I learned. Wisdom. Wisdom in all things.
You
And so
think that would have made a difference?
yes, it would have. It would have jumped. It would have. We have to remember that natural medicine is phenomenal.
Mm.
Phenomenal.
Mm.
However, when you go into crisis mode, you must,
God gave man
you
the
must,
knowledge for certain
you
things.
must
Yeah.
refer. So that's one thing I've learned is that when you're in crisis, you must refer to.
Okay.
Because natural medicine does take much longer. There's a longer wait. There's a longer.
Because there's no proper dosage of it. That's one of the main things that you have to think about.
And so that was one of my main things is that I realized that I needed to have medicine. And
Okay.
so from there, Then I didn't get my steroids, went home, and I said, okay, I'm going to go. My mom was like, okay, you got to come up to Texas. You got to go to this natural doctor. I went to the natural doctor. And the funny thing is, I remember walking the airport in Fort Lauderdale, heading to Southwest to travel up to Texas, walk there by myself. I had no cane or anything, was walking fine. That was
all sexy self.
On point.
On point.
On point, by the way.
In heels, right?
And I remember getting on the plane. Like, I remember at one point I got a little tired. And so I asked if I could get on first, and they said yes, because they could see that I was kind of maybe walking a little off. And so they let me on first. And I went to the doctor up there, and he was very thorough. Like, he did a scan on my face where he could actually tell the different trauma that I've had through my years. It was like really cool. And I remember in the end, he said, you know, Ruth Ann, I hate to put a name to diseases because then, you know, mentally it affects you. When you have names to diseases, it affects you.
Yeah.
So he says, however, it's very similar to multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
And he recommended at the time, he said, Ruth Ann, I really believe you need to stay here and rest. Of course, I ain't staying nowhere because ain't nobody can tell me.
Nothing wrong with me.
And my son's graduation was happening like that same week. And I was like, no, I got to be down for my son's graduation. And so my sister was like, Ruth Ann, I really believe you need to stay. No, I can't. Nobody can tell me what to do.
My child gets graduated.
Okay. Hey, my firstborn son was getting graduated. So I was like,
I doing this.
Listen, I get to Florida. I get to Florida with my mom. I decide I want to take a shower because technically I've been on my sister's couch for now going on a month, kind of bathing with the bowl. And I was like, oh, shower. I'm going to go in the shower. I step into the shower because at this time I'm still able to stand. So I step into the shower. I'm good. I'm like, oh, this water feels so good. Forgetting that hot water, of course, messes with your nerves. So if you're having a nerve problem, your nerves weaken and everything goes numb. I step out of the shower and collapse.
Jesus.
Naked on the floor in the bathroom with my mom, who is literally 4 to 5 inches shorter than me, way petiter than me. You can't drag, lift, or do anything with me. Takes me an hour to get to the couch, to get up onto the couch, to drag myself to the couch. All this time, my mom's like, let's call the ambulance. I'm like, Mommy, ain't nobody coming in there and see me naked? You can't see it.
That's what you worried about.
I worry about me being naked.
Vanity, right? All this vanity. My God. All you have to do is throw a towel over you. My goodness.
Hindsight is always 2020. You understand?
So at the end of the day, what you get to the doctors and you're in there. What are they saying to you?
Well, now I'm home. I'm in Freeport. Didn't make it to his graduation. As soon as I got into Freeport that Friday, I'm immediately admitted to hospital that Saturday morning. They're saying now, well, you have the traits of lupus, but it's also transverse myelitis. So now you have lupus, SLE, transverse myelitis. So systemic lupus. Yeah, systemic lupus, which is an autoimmune, it can attack all your organs. You have transverse myelitis, meaning your myelin sheath is unraveling. It's causing muscle weakness. That's why you're not able to lift and move your legs at the moment.
Okay, that's that diagnosis. Moving forward, keeping going.
So now we're a year later. I go back to the States. Mind you, I've been given immunosuppressant drugs, but I haven't been taking them as I should because they're really expensive, like over $400 a month. So I'm like, feed children, take pills, feed children.
That's what we do.
I'm a mother. I beg. I'm sorry. That's my sin of being a mother. Mother over me. Mother over children. Yeah. And so I wasn't taking the pills. So during this time, I learned to walk about 4 times because literally I'd get up and walk. I'd go to therapy. I'd be up and walking in about 6 to 8 weeks. I'd be fine for about a month or so. And then suddenly it would go again. Strength would be gone. Why? Because I wasn't on the immunosuppressant drugs.
Oh,
But I
okay.
didn't understand that. I didn't know that. Nobody had explained that that's what those drugs were for. That was
You're going to the doctor all this time. They're giving you the medication and they're not telling you what the medication is meant to do.
Oh, CellCept is for this. This is what it does. If you do not take this, this is what's going to happen. Never been told that.
This is one of the reasons why my doctor, he laughs at me because I'm like, okay, you giving me this? Tell me what this is. Tell me what this is for. And I think that this is a lesson to persons who now go to the doctor. You don't just let them give you medication and you be blind and say, yes, I'll take it. Yeah, you need an explanation so that you can know. What I realized too why it's important is like after a couple of days, they say, take this with 2 glasses of water. After a couple of days, you don't even remember which medication belongs to what and all that kind of stuff. You should write it down, come to understand what it is, and then do that.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, you in the final analysis, what was the diagnosis and what is your diagnosis today? What is it that happened to your body that now has you placed in a wheelchair?
They call it NMO. So NMO is neuromyelitis optica. And so basically, it's the same concept of transverse myelitis. It's kind of the same concept of lupus, meaning it is an autoimmune. However, it specifically targets the optic nerve. That's why I can't see out of my left eye.
Okay.
And it also targets the myelin sheath. So it's still unraveling the myelin sheath, and it targets your optic nerve. So a lot of times persons with neuromyelitis optica, they'll either have no sight in one of their eyes or their sight will come and go, just like similar to sclerosis.
Okay. Are you having the coming and going of your vision?
Well, with my left eye, it used to come and go. Since I would say because I went into a coma in 2017. So after the coma, my sight completely kind of dissolved. Maybe by the end of the year, the left eye, beginning of 2018, my left eye, the sight had gone completely.
So how long were you in a coma for?
About 10 days.
And that was in direct correlation to the disease. Is it a disease that you have?
Well, I don't like to call it nothing, but if you want to,
we can call it nothing then.
whatever this thing is, God have going on that calls it something, that's what I got.
That's what you got. But at the end of the day, I'm surprised I haven't heard you say, but you know I got this licked, because I know you got this licked, girl.
Right? Like one thing is I don't even consider, like, honestly, Regina, for me, this is so much more than just not walking. I don't even know how to describe it, but so many things have transpired with my heart, with my mind, with my growth personally, mentally, spiritually, that I probably would have never been able to attain had I been mobile.
If you weren't there, yes. And don't you think it's a lot like this COVID-19? Like this situation that we're in?
Listen, like they were like, oh, so Rutha, they were like, how are you functioning with this? I say, you
really? How am I functioning?
You know, 19 for 5 years, 5 years. Y'all talking about 2 months, 3 months, try 5 years.
5 years. And I can't leave my house unless somebody takes me out of my house to go anywhere. And now you have the opportunity.
Like I tell people, I wear the most expensive underwear in the world. Mine are disposable. Take that. You know I know expensive undies. I do. Mine expensive. I'll throw them away when I done. Take that.
That's what I say. Listen, my thing is, I'm so proud of what you said about. Using the time that you've been in the space that you're in to be better, because most people would have moped around and found a reason to just quit and go on government assistance or and that's it. And they just live a mediocre life because they're content in being, and that's an excuse that they have now to do it. But the thing I love about you is that you've taken what you that what has been given to you, and you're now using it. You motivate people. The amount of people that you motivate and that you speak in life into them. I listen to you when you're doing it, and I'm like, dang, nobody would even dare to think that this is what this woman is going through. Let's talk a little bit about what you do as your business, and what you do. How did you come to the place where you could still motivate yourself to do what it is that you do?
Well, one, I usually have to do my skills at 5:30 every morning. And at that time, usually I'm up around 4:30. And from that point on, it's praying. That's for start off, being grateful, being grateful and having gratitude to God for allowing me to see this day. And so that's my first thing. That's the first thing that comes out of my mouth. Before I do anything, I don't even want to look at a phone. I don't even want to touch my pills before I say that I'm grateful to him. And from there, my gratitude. And then I start my affirmations. After my affirmations, I then take my pills, and then I go into meditation. To just mentally put myself in a frame of mind that no matter what happens today, Ruthann, you got this.
Yes.
You got this.
Yes.
And so, my philosophy, honestly, Regina, is there's always a silver lining. You just have to be willing to look for it. You just have to be willing to look for it.
Yes. You just have to look for it. You're right.
I mean, I can't even share the whole story on this forum because it's a long one, and we can go on for hours. People be like,
how long we talk for that first day? That was a morning. And we did a morning.
And so people don't even understand even, an inkling of it from an emotional standpoint, from, a spirit.
Think about that.
It's a lot. And I hear when people say, this is the favorite quote that persons tell me, girl, you don't sound like someone who's sick or in a wheelchair. My response always is, how does somebody sound?
Yeah.
Like
I'm just doing this for the first time. I don't know how that works.
Hey, no, but Regina, get me the voiceover so I can practice the voice for you.
And I'll be that for you.
I'll do that just for you. I'll make sure. But I don't know what it is to be like that. And so for me, this has just been a constant focus. Like if I could show you around my room, I have affirmations posted all over my room. I have about, right now it's 1, 2, 3. I have 6 pictures of me standing around my room.
Yes.
So I'm sitting in my wheelchair. I'm standing up because ultimately my reticular activation system, my RAS memory has to know, my subconscious has to understand that, guess what? You're going to stand up. You're going to walk. That's where you're going to do this.
You can do this. That's why I wanted, when I asked you to send the photos for me, that's why I wanted a photo of you for the promotional video where you were standing. I wanted people to see that you were standing. And that, for me, says volumes, because in my mind, from talking to you and knowing you, I believe you are going to be there again. I believe that because you believe that, and you believe that wholeheartedly. Yeah. I believe that for you.
But the funny thing is, for Regina, is that for the past 5 years, only recently, I would have said maybe 2 months ago, well, yeah, maybe mid-January, beginning of February, I actually started to ask God to walk. This whole entire time, I just asked for his will. Whatever his will is, let it be done.
Let it be done.
Whatever I was meant to learn, if I'm meant to learn anything from this, so be it. Like I didn't want God to rush my process. I know that sounds insane because I know we always
want. I get it. I
want this. That's what, get up and walk. But I was like, there has to be a reason why I was put here.
Yes. And I like that, because even you're talking about your being in a wheelchair, but now people have to look at it as being in the situations that they are in their lives. And even this COVID-19, why am I here? Because there's something in this for everybody. Everybody's in it. The world is in it. What is in this for me? Let me get out of this what is in it for me, so that I can come out on the other side better, stronger, wiser, coming out.
Definitely.
So I love that. So tell us some of the things that has happened to your body um, from because of the diagnosis, because I'm never going to be able to say that diagnosis. So you tell us some of the things that has happened other than your eyes. What are some of the other things that have occurred because of the diagnosis?
Well, of course, I can't walk. My legs are, well, at one point, my legs just felt like Play Doh. My right arm completely numbed out on me, like literally just went dead. It isn't anymore, but it did. It had gone completely numb on me. What else? Your core strength, there is none. So for me to do what I'm doing now, which is sit up, I couldn't do this.
We're
I would
going
have
to
been,
talk about
I would have been falling over and all sorts of things. I couldn't do it.
mm-hmm.
And that's about it. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of pain.
Wow. And she smiles when she says that. She smiles when she says that.
There's a quote that my mom always says. It's from the Baha'i writings, and it talks about your true who you are and your strength is when you're sick.
That's true. It is the truth, because some people just lay down and die. And then for others who know that they have purpose and they have belonging, they fight and they get up because I ain't done yet. You understand? And I see that in you, Ruth, and I really do. You, in all that you're going through, you have a business. You run your own business. Let's talk a little bit about your business and what it is that you do.
Well, actually, there's
a couple businesses, but we want to talk about a specific business. Okay, let me narrow it down then. Let's talk about the business that is giving you hope and helping to heal your body and moving you to the place of walking again in the near future. Let's talk about that business.
Well, there's a business that I actually got involved in back in November. My girlfriend actually called me not to invite me anymore because she knew I wasn't into no business. From that perspective, from a network marketing perspective, I just wasn't into it. I'd been in enough. I'd been burnt enough. I'd been through a whole pile of cray, and I was just like, I'll just do what I do on my own, you know.
Thanks.
And so she still called me and said, "Well, do you know anybody else that would be interested in doing it?" And so I sent two persons over. I gave her two names, and I called the two people, and they were like, "Okay, sure." However, their contingency, one of them, they were like, "Well, yeah, you know, like, well, if you want me to do this and you're supposed to be the head and they want you to be a head, well, you better be there too."
So that meant I had to get it together, because I know that traveling in that state is not easy. Is that lovely?
Listen, it take me and all the manifestations of God to come down where I needed to be. And when I tell you, it was literally everything went so smooth. My mom's co-worker just happened to be going on the same day, so I was able to go on the boat with her. Like when I tell you, it was like everything was
played into position.
Everything was open. So it's like there was no excuse. Like you know what I mean? Like there was no excuse. So and they made sure that I had a caregiver readily available to me, so I didn't have to worry about that. And I was like, you know what, God, you are a mighty son.
You're saying something. You're saying something.
I get there. I get into the meeting. They give us these 2 glasses of this green stuff in a cup. I drink it. You know us. We you know us crazy people. We just drink stuff because they tell us drink it, right? I drink stuff. I go back to where I'm staying, and I remember initially a tingling in these fingers, and I'm like, is this because when I tell you my right arm, this right arm completely numb, was keyword was and
yeah.
I was having a natural session with a pathologist. She was here and on the side of me, and I said to her, I said, Rhonda, is there a possibility that product could have my fingers tingling already? Because it was like less than 6 hours. Like it was just literally the evening of the afternoon. Does that make sense? And so she was like, well, honestly, Ruth, if it does what it says, what they say it does, what they claim it does, yes, you should be feeling that.
Wow. Wow.
So then, of course, then my other brain kicks in. This must be a
Spidey senses start tingling.
Yeah, like, this is a placebo. This is my mind playing tricks on me. This isn't real. This is really not happening at this moment. I think it's happening, but it's not. Yeah. All of this is happening through my mind.
Of course.
So I get
back.
Is
it you, or is it me?
Exactly. I get back to Freeport and I actually start the products. I'm a person that I believe in becoming a product of the product before I even think or dare.
Yes.
Share with anybody else. So I started on the products, and Regina, within a week, less than a week, I started feeling a gush of energy back in my legs. So I was like, placebo, all in the brain. It's not real. Placebo. Yes. That's all I'm saying to myself, So then the following week, halfway in, I remember my daughter was bathing me. I turned over on my stomach, and the Holy Spirit said, get up on your knees. Now, normally when I do this, I literally just slide. Like I slide, like I can literally.
There's no strength. There's no strength or anything in your body.
I go on the slide all the way down to the floor. You understand? So, I was like, okay. I said I'll be obedient, and that was another thing. I had to learn obedience. I had to learn patience. I had to learn
the lessons.
Obedience and patience, because patience was not in my vocabulary. Period.
So, I got you.
So I said, okay, Holy Spirit, you want me up on my knees? Let's see how this one could go. Let's try this one.
Try this.
Regina, on the knees. I'm like, what?
My God. I can imagine that.
This me, I'm like standing on I got my arms up. I'm like, no way. No, and this all going in my, I'm saying it out loud because my daughter's in the bathroom. She probably can think I crazy. I'm like, no way. What a sick trend. So I go back to my stomach. So when she comes in, she looks at me. She said, Mommy, what are you up to? I'm like, nothing. She's like, Mommy, you look so mischievous. You're up to something. What are you up to? So I showed her. I literally went back up on my knees again. She's like, I turn around and she's crying. Because she knows that's the beginning. That's the start of me walking.
Yes.
If I can get up on my knees, there's hope that I can walk.
Yeah.
It's just like a baby. A baby crawl before I can walk.
Yes.
So she just cries, and I'm like, after that day, I'm like, is there a possibility that
I'm sold?
Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, are these actually working? And then I noticed my arm started to come back to life because my arm had gone completely numb. But before I had gone through this tingling and burning and itching. Like I used to slap my arm up. I used to be putting powder and lotion, hot water, cold water, everything you could think of. And so it started again. So my other daughter, who had been my caregiver as well, she's like, Mommy, you're reversing. What is the slogan of these products? Reverse, recover, restore.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's when like everything started triggering. And then even to the point where I remember calling this natural pathologist again in Trinidad. And she said, well, how's it going? And I told her about me getting on my knees. She's like, oh my God, wow. She's like, well, how are your bowels? Because, bowels are very important. And we don't like to talk about it, but it is important. So I was like, it doing what it do, every 2 days, whenever it come. She says, are you taking the Hasaki? I said, no, I only have vanilla and I don't like vanilla. She's like, Ruth Ann, what do you have that you can put in it? Put some fruit, put something, chocolate. Put something in it. So I said, well, I have some Slim Fast. She said, well, put a scoop of that in and drink it. Regina, within 8 hours, I had a bowel pass.
Wow.
Every time I drink that, without fail, I have a pass.
That's awesome.
And so like all of these things, my core started to strengthen. Like literally, I had not been to physical therapy since August because of Dorian and not having a car. When I went to therapy in January, my therapist was like,
where'd you come from?
What are you doing? Like, what have you been doing?
You need to do this again.
My core is strong. Like, I have a strong core. Like,
yeah, because you're sitting up properly.
Check it out. This is the tallest I can go. Before, I used to be like stretching for the sky because there was more to go. This is the tallest I can go. My core is strong. I'm not going to the gym, especially now. Can't go to the gym. Yes. But strength is like amazing. Wow. And so when you hear stories about our sister and our friend, Donna Lee and her son, and him getting up.
We're gonna have them on the show for sure. Definitely, for sure. Because there's testimonies after testimonies.
After 10 years of not being able to walk, being able to walk now.
Yes, yes. Isn't that awesome? Let's talk about your eyes, because remember now, your eyes were closed down and it could not open. Yeah, now it's open. Yeah, that was your eye.
When you're winking. Okay.
Cute. And now it's all open and doing what it does. You know?
And also the cloud that's around it is lighter, because it used to be a dark gray cloud. Now the cloud is lightening. So you never know. We're not making any medical claims. We're not saying that this healed and this did that. No, I'm just saying that it's allowing my body to get into a state of homeostasis so that it can do what the body is created to do, which is heal itself.
Let's talk about the product, because the product has certain things in it that the body needs to be able to regenerate itself. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, basically, the concept of the product comes from a gentleman named Dr. Diaz. He's a French-Japanese doctor, and his concept was, the people of Japan.
You're frozen a little bit, but keep going. I can hear you, but you're not moving.
Okay,
but that's okay.
The people of Okinawa, Japan, have lived over 100 years. These people are 100 plus. So he literally said, well, how is this possible? And, why is it possible? So he went to the gut, because some of these persons have smoked all their life and they still are healthy at 100 plus. So he said, you know what? It's their gut. It's something in their gut. So he went backwards. He duplicated the gut of a healthy person at 100 plus.
Okay.
So he utilized different fermented products, or I should say herbs or herbal items, such as in these products, it ended up being olive leaves and rosemary, also spirulina and turmeric. So in our product, it's the fermentation of olive leaves, the fermentation of rosemary. Those are the main two ingredients in the balage that we carry. And with that balage, it basically literally gets into the bloodstream immediately and starts energizing the mitochondria. And from there, it then helps to heal the gut, allows the gut to have the right balance, allows the gut to then get into the level of homeostasis. Because once the gut is healed, then everything else will start functioning, because you want your bowels to be functioning. You want your intestines and large intestines, small intestines to be emptying. You want your brain to be hydrated. This product can get through the brain barrier, the eye wall barrier, so it hydrates the brain immediately. So persons that are suffering with dementia, persons that are suffering with anxiety, depression, especially during these times, persons that have suffering with anxiety, this is the product for you. But not only does it do that, it also builds your immune system. And this is not, like I said, we're not making medical claims. These are documented proof that this is what it does. We have proof
and in this season, that's more important. That's like gold right there. You understand?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with the viruses and stuff going on, it battles viruses by 83.9%. So I'm going to be specific. I'm not going to be, it battles by 90%. No, 83.9%. It battles. How do we know this? Because we tested it. We did in vivo trials on influenza B, gastroenteritis, as well as pneumonia, as well as the Crito cell and I forget the NR something cell, all these cells that cause viruses to spread immediately. Well, that balage fights against it.
My thing is, I love how you've gone in and come to understand the product to its core. That's because I think the lesson that you learned from not knowing about the steroid, you've taken that to a whole other level, because now you're aware of the products that you're taking and you know exactly what it's about. Let's talk about how many nutrients and stuff the product has, because I know that it's packed to capacity with nutrients.
Yeah, well, the thing is, there are 4 products. So then you have the Inner 7. The Inner 7 basically is full of magnesium and potassium. However, it also has about 15 other minerals compacted within the magnesium and potassium, but magnesium and potassium being the main ones in there. Now, with that being said, something like that balances your hormones as well as bringing your body to a level of pH. And of course, pH in the body can be different things, because I know we always think, okay, pH is 7. However, pH is 7, yes. However, in the gut, it's a different pH. Every part of your body needs a different.
You're having a little bit of technical difficulties again. Continue, because we can hear you. I just want to let people know. You go right ahead.
Yeah, so no problem. So definitely that is something that we have. And then we have something called Renew Fire. Now with the Renew Fire, if you're a person that loves sweets, loves sugars, or suffers with diabetes, high blood pressure, or even insomnia, this is a product that's for you, because with this product, you will definitely find that not only will it reduce your sugar, reduce your flour intake and your carbs during the day, burn it off, turn it to thermogenesis so you can lose weight at night, but it also gives you a restful sleep, and this restful sleep, not just sleep, because when you take it, you are going to sleep, but you're going to have a restful sleep. There's a difference.
Yes, yes.
So there is definitely a difference.
My thing is, one of the things that I'm proud of is that not only that you've come to understand the products and stuff, but you've made it your business and tell people this is something that has been taking care of you and your family and making sure that you have food on the table and pay school fees and all that kind of stuff. Tell them how you've been doing this. You're sitting in a wheelchair. You have people, and you're doing it online as well. And in this COVID-19 season, this is something that is amazing, because you could be making money while you're home now in this season. Because the products, if it's doing all that stuff for you, and we have people, we talked about people who gone off a hypertension medication, diabetes medication, and so many other things that it has helped them themselves off of the medications. And then it's making a living for you. We have just a few more minutes left. Tell us about how this has been sustaining you financially, and how you're an amazing, phenomenal woman, Ruth Ann. Just tell them about it.
No, definitely. I mean, I get paid weekly from this business, and I remember when person was saying, "Oh, get disability." Well, I got disability back in, I think, the end of 2017, because I refused to even consider myself disabled. So I had my form for disability since August of 2015, signed, stamped by a doctor. I refused to carry it into national insurance until November of 2017.
Wow.
If someone hearing me, y'all don't understand. I don't believe in working off of somebody. Like even if I don't have, I can figure out how to have.
How to make it happen.
You understand? But this business in itself, I mean, I get paid on a weekly basis. I have a team of over 200 people. And like I've told my team, and Regina could tell you, I have told my team straight and plain, y'all lucky I'm not walking.
Because we would have been in trouble. Everybody would have been in trouble.
Okay, and I only can say it like that because seriously, y'all would have been in trouble.
But you built a team of 200 people. And I don't want to keep hopping on a wheelchair, because to me, that is just like it's kind of like a frame of mind some people are in, that a wheelchair in their mind or in their thoughts.
Harp on the wheelchair. Many people are sitting in wheelchairs and don't know that they can stand.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Yes.
Many people are sitting in wheelchairs and don't realize that they can actually stand.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
So I think that is the biggest thing right there. People don't realize that. And that, I don't know, like I tell you that my son wrote that story, and it reminds me of, and you said it earlier as well, how have we indoctrinated this into our children?
Yes.
Like how have we done it in such a way that, like, for instance, my son has his vision board over there in the corner, and I make him recite it. Like how have you indoctrinated your children into what you want them to become?
Yes.
Even when he starts to say certain things like negatively, I'd be like, no, I'm not going to hear it. If you leave the room, I don't want to hear it. Oh, mommy, you talk to me? No, I don't. I don't want to hear it. I refuse it. Don't bring it in my ear gate. No.
In the spirit, yes. The screen is frozen, but we can hear you. I just want, because this is going to be future broadcast again on the site. So I want people to know that it's just frozen. You will be back and you're still there. So you could continue. Go ahead and give.
That is persons need to understand that, you know, whether you're in a place of being in a wheelchair or not, you have to want it for you. Nobody can want it for you more than you.
Wow.
You know, but it is a mental battle. Yes, guys, I know a lot of us are suffering with depression. Yes, a lot of us are saying we don't have any money. You know, do I do only this? No, I don't do just this. I do graphic design. I do marketing. I also do trading, but I do a little bit of everything to make sure I can make it.
Put it all together, yes.
I'm not going to sit and say, well, okay, I put all my eggs in a job. Look at all of the persons that don't have jobs now.
Right now, yes.
You know, but had you been, you know, one of my mentors, Lisa Nichols, how she always says, what are you paying into your future? What are you paying towards your dream on a weekly basis? Whether it's just $20 or whether it's just 30 minutes a week or an hour a week, but you're saying, okay, this is my dream. This is where I want to go with it. And this is where it's going to take me. It might take me 5 years to get there, but I'm going to get there. And I can sit and make steps towards it. But if you're not making steps towards it, what's the point?
What's the point? Wow.
What people fail to understand, Regina, is what I've learned being a mindset reset coach too, because I do transformational coaching. I do mindset reset coaching. And what I have learned is that God does not allow you to speak a thing that you cannot achieve. Did you hear me? God does not allow you to speak a thing that you cannot achieve.
Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful. Because the truth of the matter is, he said, if you could dream it, you could achieve it. Once you could dream it, once you could put your mind to it, you could achieve it. It's just now you have to fight through the challenges. I have been doing what I've been doing now for almost 20 years, and people do not get it. But when one day God showed me, he's like, look at Noah. He said, imagine building an ark for 40 years for people who had not even seen rain before. Just imagine that. You know what I mean? So you have to get your life vision with you.
You know, the company that we're talking about, Sankey Global, they were in preparation for over 40 years.
That's, you know, there you go.
Science and technology for 40 years. This isn't something that they just popped up and said, oh, well, we're going to mix this together and it's going to work. No, they probably failed thousands of times. You know, and I always believe in failing forward. When you fail forward, you got to fail in order to get better. If you don't fail, something's wrong.
Something's wrong. Oh, I've had a lot. I'm the queen of it, I can tell you.
That's what, when you become the queen of failure, that means you will become the queen of success because you'll know what not to do.
I received that, and I know that. I know that for a fact, babe. I know that.
You know, so I say all of that to say that, you know, this company took 40 years to prep what's going on now. You know, and yeah, people are looking, oh, you're trying to sell something. No, I'm not trying to sell anything to you. You can get the sample for free. You understand? So that's how for free, F-R-E-E. So the thing is, what we're trying to tell you is try it. 4-day sample. I guarantee you it's going to change your life. You're going to be like, whoa.
Listen, Dr. Ruth Ann, with that, we're going to encourage people. Here's what I'm going to do. On Thursday coming, you and I are going to come back on the live, and we're going to give people the opportunity to send us questions, and we can answer questions for them. And we'll bring an actual nurse on who can answer questions we'll bring Donnelly on so that she can answer questions for persons who may have questions about the product. Because if it's done all of that for you and you believe what you believe about the product, we're going to bring bring her on stream, and we're going to have a medical person in the room, and you're going to be in the room, and they're going to be able to ask questions. Our time has gone. Can't believe it's an hour already.
Like 5 minutes.
Thank you so much for joining me. I am so encouraged and motivated by you, Dr. Ruth Ann. You are a phenomenon to me. You are an amazing woman, one that I'm sure can inspire many women around the world watching this live. If you heard anything Dr. Ruth Ann has said, you have to come to understand that she is living. So what she's saying, she knows Thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to having you with me again on Thursday. I'm going to create a video to invite persons to come on stream to ask questions about the products. Thank you so much. I love you.
Love you too,
kisses to Freeport.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today on The Whole Woman. I look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday. Well, we're going to be on live on Thursday. It's going to be a special live on Thursday where you can ask questions to Dr. Ruth Ann about the product. So I look forward to seeing you on Thursday and then again on Tuesday for our new show. We'll be promoting our guest. You can go to my Facebook page, The Whole Woman Network, to see this show again, or you can go to my website, woman.tv. I thank you for joining me and I love you guys. Be encouraged and be motivated. Take care of yourselves in this season. Come on the other side of this safe. I love you. Bye.